What's correct, lacking? It's your boy Frymuth, just in case you did not know so. And we're back again, once again, this time going over the tight end class in the 2021 NFL Draft. I'm going to give you my top 10 guys, but if you're a Bro Scout tier member, you get my full rankings for all these positional groups. So it's the best way to support the channel. Go ahead, become a Bro Scout tier member. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's dive in to Kyle Pitts, because he's number one. Who would have guessed, right? And I think he's worth the top 10 pick. I won't be surprised if he goes to fourth. The Falcons can't move out of that spot. If you're viewing Kyle Pitts as a tight end only, you're viewing him incorrectly. He is a mismatch nightmare, a guy that you could line up in the slot, in the out wide. Like, he's just super good, dude. He's going to create a ton of separation. He's very explosive on his cuts. He's great on his break-in from his routes at the top of routes. Just gets good separation, good contested catch guy. He led all tight ends in contested catches in 2019. And a lot of people's gripe will probably be like, well, he don't block so much. Well, he's actually a pretty reliable pass blocker. Not that you're going to want to use him like that in the passing game, but I did see improvement as a run blocker. The guy's only 20 years old. He's 245, 6'6". You know, he could, maybe he puts on more weight. You know what? The dude's just a weapon. He's just a weapon, and I think he's an adequate enough blocker if you want to keep him in line on some plays, some designed runs. But yeah, man, he's basically a jumbo receiver, man. Like, we saw what he did on his pro day, the huge catch radius. He's a receiving nightmare. He is literally this once, maybe not necessarily in a lifetime, but he's one of the best tight end prospects that we have ever seen. Facts. So who's number two then? Who? Little new day there. But I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth, man. 6'5", 251. He is like the all balanced, all incompetence. I don't even know if that's a word, but he's just like your prototypical tight end, dude. He's a phenomenal blocker. He's not necessarily fast, but he wins routes in a variety of different ways. The guy has some legitimate, like, he's legitimately physical after the catch. Like, he's not going to juke and jive. He's legitimately just going to be like, all right, well, I'm going to lower my head, and you're probably not going to be standing after this. Like, that's how he gets his yards of contact. And he's just very phenomenal, man. I think in terms of, like, he would probably be top in the tight end class last year. So I got a second round grade on him. I think some team's going to be willing to take a shot on him in the second round, and well worth it. If Kyle Pitts didn't exist, like, we could be talking about Pat Freiermuth maybe late first. Quite honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if a team took a shot late first. Don't think it'll happen, though. He could be, with his size, I wish he could be a bit more physical on his routes in some cases. And you do worry about the hands. While it's not like a huge problem, he did over the course of his career have an 8% drop rate. When it gets at 10%, it's kind of scary, but phenomenal prospect, dude. Phenomenal. And then I got a couple of third rounders here, starting with Brevin Jordan out of Miami. I expected him to test out like a freak of nature, and it really didn't happen. It was actually a little bit disappointing, but I'm going to, we're going to take a look at the film. And you see the quicks. You see the speed. You see him as a dangerous, or you see him have the potential to be a very dangerous route runner, though it's not all, like, I don't think he's by no means complete as a receiver in terms of route running. In terms of the contested catch, like, he doesn't have a huge catch radius. He was only, like, through the course of his career, I think he's only come down with 11 out of 33 potential contested catches, so not great. You kind of worry about the ball skills. But what you love is the after a catch ability, man. 21 forced missed tackles on 105 receptions. I think part of the pro day kind of being a bit disappointed was because he did put on some significant weight, about 10 pounds at 247. But Yeah, he's more like a big receiver. He didn't play in line much. So, and that's what you're going to kind of see with this tight end class. It's a lot of guys that were more big slots in college, but I love the after catch ability of him. But I can definitely see Tommy Tremble, which I think it might happen, jumping him at 3, and I think I might actually end up having that happen. Like, 'cause there's a few times I've gone down these lists while recording the videos and been like, shoot, I really think I might have these guys like switch spots, because like Tommy Tremble's really nice. I think in the right situation, like I love him for teams like Tennessee, the Jets, the Niners. I love him in Kyle Shanahan-esque situations, because he kind of has that Kyle Juszczyk feel to him, because he's a phenomenal run blocker, and the dude's stupid fast, very explosive. Didn't really get to see much of what he could do as a receiver there in Notre Dame. They kind of opted for the freshman, Michael Mayer there at Notre Dame. So, I mean, they're calling that cat Little Gronk, so we'll see. We'll see about him in a year or two. But I mean, I just love what Tremble can do. I think he's more similar to Josiah DeGara, who went in the 3rd round of the Packers. So, and I like Tommy Tremble much better. I didn't have a 3rd round grade on DeGara, so don't put that on me. But I'm just saying I'd be willing to take a 3rd rounder on him. We just haven't seen a lot of production in the passing game. That's the only hesitancy I have. But again, fast, explosive. I really like Tommy Tremble. And then before we go to my 5, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe and leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the video. It helps the video out a ton, so do that. Hunter Long. So I like Hunter Long a lot. He's more of I got a 4th round grade on him after this. Everyone's like 5th or lower, because like I think the tight end class does get reasonably weaker after Long. I think it's these kind of like these 5 guys, or you're kind of just drafting guys with traits you hope work out. Hunter Long, great, huge catch radius, like big boy catch radius. He's got great size. I think his speed's good enough. Great ball skills. He kind of showed that off there at Boston College. He's above average athlete. Not too dynamic after the catch, but man, he hauled in a lot of long balls for Boston College last year. Quality blocker as well. So yeah, Hunter Long's really just, he could come in and immediately just be a solid tight end for your squad. And then I have Trey McKinney, and to be fair, at number 6, but to be fair, my number 7 is very close to him. Trey McKinney, huge hands, small arms, huge hands, real weird, 11-inch hands. But despite that length, he was a very solid blocker there for Georgia, and they actually decided to utilize him more in that role opposed to, really having him go out and run routes. But he was a very good run blocker there in the SEC. I think that just kind of speaks volumes. Very good pass blocker as well. But at the Senior Bowl, we kind of saw some of those ball skills, or at least potential ball skills. He had a variety of one-handed catches. I mean, with 11-inch hands. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought he could make these one-hand catches? So, bit more of a projection in terms of what he can do in the passing game. Might be a better red zone threat. But yeah, I like McKinney, and then I literally have John Bates right behind him out of Boise State, because this cat's a very good blocker in his own right. He kind of offers a bit better size and length, and we've kind of like, he plays in the Mountain West, level competition's nothing great, but like he looked a bit faster and more explosive than some of his receivers on the field. A bit clunky as a route runner, it's kind of like you want these like kind of clean breaks at the top of routes, and more so it's looked like he's kind of rounding it. But he takes a long time to round it. Takes a long time to get around that turn, if you know what I'm talking about. But the dude also, I don't think offers much after the catch. But wherever you got McKinney and Bates on your board, if it's vice versa, I don't disagree. I think they're very similar prospects in some regards. But yeah, very intriguing. And then I have Kenny Yeboah out of Ole Miss, another guy that just feels like a tweener, more receiver than tight end. He was actually used exclusively, almost exclusively, out wider in the slot. He rarely lined up in line, and when he did, like, I like to see, hey, he was a willing blocker, but the dude put on like 12 pounds going to his pro day at 250. He is a grad transfer from Temple and didn't see a lot of work there, so we're really just basing a lot of his production on last season. That's really where a bulk of the film most people are looking at comes from. I think I did mention he's more of a willing blocker than an effective blocker. And I mean, at that weight, I feel a bit better about him being less of a tweener, but I think still he's a projection. And then Kylan Granson out of SMU, he just feels like a big slot. He almost never took any snaps in line. Like, he more than times than not played in the slot for SMU. I wouldn't really say he has good ball skills. But what I like to see, he's got a solid route tree, especially vertically. He's more of a vertical separator. Not much, doesn't really got the size at 235, 6'3" to be a blocker, and that's why he wasn't used in that fashion. But that's why I got a 6th-round grade on him, man. I think you're getting a big slot at this point. So, and then Tony Pauljean here at 10. And to be fair, I got a couple of guys that are right behind Pauljean that I think if you're looking for more of a receiving upside, probably could take his spot. But I think Pauljean is a very safe prospect. I think guaranteed this guy's going to be a quality tight end too at the next level. He's only played 2 seasons, I believe, maybe 3, actually 3 seasons at tight end. He used to be a quarterback. This cat's 6'7", and he's gotten his weight up to 265. That's ridiculous. Kind of ideal size for a blocking tight end. I think he's going to see a ton of red zone snaps because he was a pretty efficient blocker there in the ACC, former Central Michigan transfer. Huge catch radius. Not too dynamic of an athlete, but like I said, if you're a tight end too, you don't really have to be, unless your team's opting to run a lot of 21 or 12 personnel, which I can't really see that happening. But yeah, man, I really like Pauljean a bit. But if you want to see the rest of those juicy rankings, become a Pro Scout tier member. But other than that, that's it for the video. Go ahead to the YouTube thing, become a bro and subscribe, leave the thumbs up. Of course. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.